I've been on a journey for a long time to find the perfect variable ND filter. Spoiler alert, I still haven't found the perfect one. I was really hoping that this one, the NiSi Jetmag VND, would be the perfect solution. Unfortunately, it's not perfect though. However, it is now the top variable ND I recommend on the market, and I'm going to tell you why in this video. If you don't know me, my name's Dustin, your video tour guide. Please keep your arms and legs inside your chairs at all times. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Now, full disclosure, NiSi did send me this variable ND. However, they are maybe slightly not happy with me since I'm very behind on making the content I said I would on this filter. There was the possibility of me receiving a store credit if I got the content out within the first 30 days of me receiving this filter. But long story short, I didn't get it out in time, so that's likely not on the table anymore. And they've been kind of anxious for me to release this, but to be fair, I have as well. I just needed to make you aware of that, but honestly, the store credit is not really what I care about. I care about finding a variable ND that solves the issues that I have with past VNDs I've used, and I will get into that in a minute. And I'll also give you a refresher if you don't go and watch my previous video on some variable ND filters I've made. Let me tell you though briefly about the NiSi Jetmag VND and why I found it interesting. First, there's a few different kits you can buy on this filter. This one is called the Creative Kit, and it also comes with a extra, I think it's a 1/8 mist filter. Yep, it's a 1/8 black mist filter. And it also comes with a 4-stop ND for $519 that I will explain the reason it comes with this 4-stop ND in a minute. But you can also just buy what's called the standard kit, which basically comes with all the step-up rings for the variable ND. So the 67, 72, 77, and 82 step-up rings, this case, and the variable ND itself with a front and back cap. So basically it just doesn't include the mist filter and the 4-stop ND for the standard kit. And that costs $319, just so you are aware. They also have made some slight upgrades, it seems, to the carrying case. If you've bought a previous screw-on NiSi filter, it's just kind of a nicer case from the last one I had from them. Now, the way that this filter works is everything is magnetic. So that's the front cap and the back cap. It's magnetic. But then on the step-up rings, you will see this white kind of line indicator here. And if you magnetize that on to the step-up ring, if you line up with this notch on the filter, it essentially locks the filter onto the adapter ring or onto these front and back caps. So if I put this on here and I line this up with this other notch here, that front cap is not going to come off. But when I spin it away from it and pull it, it comes off. This is nice because other magnetic systems, it can be very easy to knock the filter off by accident. So this gives you just a safer option in that regard. Now, as far as the build goes, this is a premium filter. There are cheaper options out there, but in terms of build quality and probably the, glass quality on this filter, it does seem very premium. Now let me give you a little refresher on why I was hoping that this filter, this variable ND filter, was going to be the perfect one. In my last comparison video, I discovered an issue that not a lot of people realize happens when you use screw-on variable ND filters. That is that from lens to lens, the filter will not always land in the same place, basically when you screw it on, which can affect the polarization in your shot without even realizing it. So if you feel like you are getting inconsistency in your image from lens to lens using the same filter, it could be potentially related to your variable ND filter. Now, in my last video, I compared this to the PolarPro Maglock system and noticed that these variable ND filters don't have this problem. but they actually have a different problem where it can actually affect the color in the image, giving you even more inconsistency. And so the best filter I recommended in that video in terms of costs and ways you can get around these problems was the filter from Freewell, because you could spin the filter to adjust the polarization and use a little screw to lock it to be consistent. Plus the colors always stayed consistent when you spun it as well. Now I actually have another filter from Freewell with me. It's the new Freewell Real Locking VND. I think it's a great option. It has some cool kind of perks to it, like it does actually lock onto this little thread essentially that you put onto the front of your lens. You've also got like a little gray card here that you can use that is stored in the back of this, you know, cap for the filter. There's also another filter you can place on top that can essentially give you more stops of ND. Now I still like that variable ND, and I still like this variable ND as well. However, after using a filter with 3 to 7 stops, which this one has 3 to 7 stops as well, basically I realized that the 3 to 7 range actually wasn't really my favorite range. Plus that older system I compared to in the previous video just was not as convenient as the PolarPro Maglocks. And like another thing I said, I don't like these step-up rings either. If you screw it on too tight to the front of your lens, they're really hard to get off. There's essentially no grip or like anything in order to get them off. And they're just small and easy to lose, and yeah, get mixed up with other things or forget that it's attached to like a step-up ring or something like that. So because of that inconvenience, I actually ended up using the PolarPro Maglocks more often, even though I would get an inconsistent image sometimes. Just because of convenience was more of a priority for me. These are just so convenient to change between the different filters with their Maglock system. This is why I was very excited when NiSi launched the Jetmag Pro VND, because I love my NiSi filters that came with my matte box system. They even have a variable ND version, and I just think that they look really, really nice. It's not the greatest matte box, but I just really like the filters that come with it. But then again, I just don't always have the convenience of being able to use my matte box. Sometimes I need something smaller like this. So the part of the video that you're probably been waiting for, and the biggest question I had was, will the Jetmag Pro VND color stay consistent if I spin the filter to adjust the polarization? And I am happy to report that it does stay consistent across all the different stops of ND. And I would even say it gives me more accurate colors to what my camera sees without a filter at all. Now, I compared each stop to the PolarPro Maglocks. You'll notice that the PolarPro kind of comes off a bit warmer. And when I spin it, it may be a little hard to notice, but the colors also get slightly almost gray and desaturated sometimes, depending on the stop that I'm at and where it stops when I spin it. Again, if you want to see this in another video, I did this in my previous comparison video. So because of this reason and the convenience that the NiSi Jetmag Pro VND has to offer with the magnetic system, this is replacing my PolarPros. Keep in mind that PolarPro also has a VND with a built-in polarizer as well. I do not have that. This is just the non-polarizer version. So if PolarPro wants to send that one and have me test it, because maybe you won't get that color, you know, shift or change with the VND with the polarization, but I have a buddy that has them and he also didn't really like the PolarPro version, so I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt, but just keep that in mind. I have just the regular VND versions, not the polarized version VND versions from PolarPro. But even with that, another gripe I have with the PolarPros is that they are kind of big and chunky, whereas the NiSi is thinner. So that's another reason I lean towards the NiSi. Plus, it's a 1 to 5 stop VND versus the PolarPro being a 2 to 5 stop VND. And being able to go to 1 is really nice. Lastly though, why is the NiSi not perfect? What do I not like about it? I do like how they made it so the filter can somehow kind of lock on the adapter ring so it doesn't come off, similar to the PolarPro. But if I want the filter to be rotated to adjust the polarization, it's not locked on there. And so it kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion. And I did knock the filter off the lens when I took it on vacation and was filming some family footage, so it is a downside. What could be maybe kind of improved, you can basically see a notch inside the ring where you can see where it locks, essentially. If they just made this notch basically go almost all the way around, and then there was one spot where you can put the filter on and then spin it, then there would just be less likelihood that it could come off. So it's a thought. I don't know if they'll make that change, but it's a thought to make these step-up rings just safer, if that makes sense, from preventing your ND from accidentally getting knocked off the camera. So I would love to see a version where maybe they make it even harder to knock off the adapter ring. But the last thing though is that it is a bit pricey. So it is cheaper if you buy it in the kit, because then you also get a black mist. And then this, if you want these two filters, it would be $600, not including, step-up rings. So I guess it depends how you buy it, but it's basically just gotten pricier depending on how you buy it and which kit and which ones you go with. I looked up to the VND polarizer option and it's $329, so it's $30 more if you want kind of a similar just polarized and variable ND filter from PolarPro. So maybe the Freewell real locking VND, that's a mouthful, is a better option for you, because this one is $249 as opposed to the $319 from NiSi, and you would rather have one that's a 3 to 7 stop ND range. Maybe though you want filters that lock and stay locked, and you're okay with the color shift or spending a little bit of extra money, then that's where the PolarPros are probably a better option. For me though, I'm starting to just prioritize quality and consistency and losing out on just a little bit of convenience, and I'm choosing the NiSi Jetmag Pro VND. If you are interested in any of these filters, I'll have affiliate links in the description, and if you use those, thank you. They really help support the channel. You can always support me though just by hitting the subscribe button and the bell button to be notified of future uploads. Till the next video though, happy filming.